Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now May 22nd of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2's finale, a lot of Star Wars fans around the world have been very much intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney, Lucasfilm, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and others out there, like new creators coming on board of yet-to-be-announced TV shows that will be announced this upcoming fall. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, obviously a lot of things have been happening the past couple of weeks. In fact, just recently we learned a little bit more about Dave Filoni's promotion. I'm sure that a lot of you have heard about this. There's a lot going over at Lucasfilm. In fact, both, of course, Jon and Dave are trying their absolute best to really bringing back Star Wars Legends back in the mix, to really kind of reviving some of those beloved stories that featured many of the main characters that we know and love. So, looking ahead to the future, we have a lot of TV shows on our plate. We've got shows like Kenobi, Ahsoka, Mando Season 3 and 4, and so on and so forth. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what's to come by Disney and Lucasfilm. Now, what's really exciting to me the most is exactly what's going on with everything related to the Kenobi series. In fact, they're already said to be a quarter way through filming. That's a large chunk of principal photography now finished. You know, they're trying to get this thing done by the end of the year, leading into early 2022. This way they can actually either drop it at the very end of next year, or at the very latest, at the very beginning of 2023, which I don't think that'll be the case, but I digress. What's really intriguing all has to do with Dave Filoni and Gina Carano, who got fired back in February for her social media posts, specifically on Twitter. Now, with that being said, of course, what's really interesting about all of this, of what's going on behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm, is that given that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are currently in the early works for the Ahsoka Tano series, as well as other TV shows that are yet to be announced, they are making sure to drag in as much Star Wars Legends material as possible into the Star Wars universe for the fans to enjoy. However, since Dave Filoni recently got a big promotion over at Lucasfilm, Filoni recently engaged in a recent interview where he was eventually questioned about Gina Carano and the plan to getting her rehired, or bringing her back into the Star Wars universe. Dave Filoni went on to explain that he and Jon realized that what Gina posted on social media created a load of backlash on the internet, and that many were standing with her or distancing themselves away from her. Filoni goes on to say how it was handled could have been done in a far more controlled way that would have been more acceptable. As far as bringing her back into the Star Wars universe, we have had discussions with Disney and will continue to do so to see if we can create a balanced resolution to all of what happened a couple of months ago. When asked if he actually has been in the talks with Gina Carano, Dave Filoni went on to say that yes, he has, and she is a wonderful and kind soul from when he worked with her on the set of the Mandalorian series, and really wants to work with her again sometime soon. Dave Filoni further reveals that Jon Favreau is also trying to create a resolution to all of this that will be satisfying to all the fans to make things more understandable to Disney and to the entire fandom, and that we are working very hard to keep peace between those who work at Lucasfilm and those who actually are at Disney. So, one thing that I think really stands out a lot here, I'm sure that you guys have been well aware about what's been going on with Rangers of the New Republic. It is no longer in active development, and we've been talking about this for a couple of months now. We've been talking about how they're taking Rangers of the New Republic down, and they're going to reform it. So, what's happening here? Alright, let's be a little bit more clear as to what's really going on behind the scenes. They're dragging down Rangers of the New Republic. They're going to restructure it, give it a different name, a different main character. It's going to be based within the same exact time setting, which is roughly days, weeks, or months after the events of Return of the Jedi, with a story that follows up to 1 year leading into the Battle of Jakku, giving us a little bit of a backstory of what really happened on that planet, aside from what we saw in the Battlefront video game, right? Now, the one thing that I really want to actually point out here about Dave Filoni is how he low-key pretty much told the fandom that there is indeed a lot of discussions going around between himself, John, and the higher-ups over at Disney and how they are trying to create a satisfying, balanced resolution to all of this that's going to be acceptable to fans on all fronts. I've said this time and time again, you're not going to really please all the fans. It's just not going to happen, and I'm sure that you guys have heard, that type of statement before in the past, when it comes to movies, like what Mark Hamill had said, what Rian Johnson had said. I know it's a tiring statement, but it's true. At the end of the day, you're not going to please everybody, but the goal is to please the majority of the actual Star Wars fans that love the franchise down to the core, that actually love Star Wars, right? And that includes casual fans as well. And I think that what Dave and John are really trying to do, by the way, May 27th is their big final meeting with Lucasfilm, or should I say with Disney, to really balance everything out with Gina Carano, trying to get her back into the Mandoverse and other TV shows out there. This is a big deal. I mean, we know that Dave Filoni loves the character of Cara Dune. Jon Favreau loves the character of Cara Dune. I mean, heck, it's Favreau's creation. He is the one who made this character. He loves the character. So, when we examine what's been going on between Dave Filoni's promotion and Rangers of the New Republic getting reformed, and there's a lot of things going on at the same exact time, you can only imagine how overworked they must be. They are working around the clock to really get Star Wars out there. And when you think about it that way, I mean, if you've seen some of the interviews with Dave Filoni, the man looks exhausted. I don't know about you, but the man looks exhausted, very tired. And you know what? He's really giving his life to Star Wars. He really is. He is pouring his heart and soul into these new Star Wars shows. And you know what? I respect that. I love that. And he really truly is the protege of George Lucas. Now, Dave Filoni is in fact working on some animated shows that's going to be pretty much another follow-up to the Clone Wars / the Bad Batch. That's going to be announced later this year as well. During the fall, more animated TV shows alongside with live-action TV shows and movies to come for the Star Wars universe. Here's the other thing, alright, is that Dave Filoni actually has been in talks with Gina Carano ever since she was fired. So that tells us that there's no bad blood between Filoni and Gina Carano at all. And Gina Carano herself even said on the Ben Shapiro interview that she loves John and Dave. She feels that what they are doing with the fandom is 100% dead on correct, and that they are holding a lot of responsibility. They're doing a great job. And you know what? I gotta say, it just seems like that Gina, John, and Dave, they got along very well on the set of Mando Season 1 and 2. And I'm looking forward to seeing her in future seasons if they can really work this thing out on May 27th. Again, May 27th, in case you guys have been out of the loop, it's going to be the final meeting between the Disney board members, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, to discuss the entire Gina Carano situation and how it really should be handled further down the road. There is a plan to get her back. There is a plan to get her rehired. That's all going to be discussed finally on the 27th of May. And we're going to learn more about that, officially speaking, throughout the summer. So it's going to be a very interesting next couple of months when it comes to Gina Carano as an actress and what it means for Star Wars. I do believe that the Bear Grylls episode was a little tease of what's to come and how Disney's beginning to cave. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.